Mortel, not mortal. Mortel. And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original series, Mortel. Mortel is 6 episodes long, each 45 minutes long. It's a supernatural teenage series that has been done loads of times before. We've seen this. The reason why I was intrigued by this because I like the idea of the supernatural element being voodoo magic this time, and I thought, well, that could at least be interesting. The synopsis is two guys become friends. One is looking for his brother has gone missing, and they basically get a god, a voodoo god, to give them powers. One has an interesting power, and the other one has a not so interesting power, but together they have to be in proximity to each other to use their powers. And how do teenagers use their powers? Of course, they're going to start experimenting and seeing what they can do with them. And will they naturally default to being the good guys, or will they naturally default to being the bad guys? And as teenagers, sometimes with that, they make bad choices. There's another protagonist with the daughter of the voodoo grandmother who is intertwined into the story. But the core premise of this is that they're looking for a missing brother, brother to brother relationship. And in that, there's a lot of teenage angst and drama. The thing I was most disappointed about this series is that they don't give you any reason to actually care about these characters. They thrust you into the storyline, and the main protagonist comes across like a real douchebag, and there's not any really redeeming features for him, for his character to have a redemption storyline. He's missing his brother, and therefore he's treating everybody like crap. And then you have the school that just allows people to be bullied on, quite highly. So you have this other protagonist who's been labeled the suicide kid because kids are just that crappy nowadays apparently. And everybody smokes, and even the teacher smokes. And I was just like, wow, is this really how it is, or is this a depiction of how you think it is? If you go to a school in France, let me know, because I was like, wow, really, is that the case? Anywho, I like the idea of these kids having powers, and I like the idea of it, that the behind the storyline being voodoo magic, because we get all supernatural stuff. We've had 15 seasons of Supernatural. We've had many other versions of supernatural teenage storylines, and I thought this would have been a nice, unique way to tell a story. Whether this gets any better in season 2, I don't know. But for me, it was very hard to care about what happened to these characters, especially one of the main protagonists. I thought that he wasn't very likable at all. And that's probably down to the scripting, because I thought as acting, they're okay in moments. I didn't think they're great, but the scripting is very hard for you to get to grips with those characters. I think part of it could be culture, because that's not my culture, and I'm not the demographic. I'm not a young teenager going to college, obviously, but there should be something for everybody to get to grips with. You need to be able to identify with your characters somehow. You need to be able to care. If the writers are writing characters that you care about, then all the other crap that goes on, you care about. There was only one character that I really cared about, and that was the young lady that joins the protagonist team. In between, her grandmother is I guess she deals with voodoo magic, and she is thrust into this world that she really doesn't want to be a part of. And I quite liked her arc. I thought it was interesting. I thought she, as an actress, she plays it well. But the others, I didn't really care all that much about. I think it looks okay. They do this thing with the filmmaking to make it edgy, and they have like French rap as well, and the whole thing screams like we're trying to make this program, this series cool. Then they're kind of forcing it down your throat. Like, if you need to have a good premise, you need to have a scripting that's nailed down. A script, story, dialogue that's nailed down well. If you get those things right, then you'll get that theme and that presence that you're going for. And for me, I just felt this kind of fell flat. Where there are so many series like this, I felt like this kind of dropped below the belt of series that we have, especially the teenage apocalyptic kind of stuff. There's a lot of teenage dramas and supernatural thrillers, or just thrillers in this. Netflix are kicking them out, they're churning them out, and this for me just kind of sits below the bar. Whether they get any better, I don't know. I'm interested to see whether it gets a second season, whether it gets any better. I would like to see somebody else maybe helm direction a bit, or cinematography a bit braver, rather than being like, look, we're edgy, we're gonna do those close zooms and quick snapshots and quick edits with this French rap. Yeah, I wasn't into it all that much. It's an interesting premise, and that's what kept me hooked. is what's happening with the voodoo stuff. It is pretty creepy and it's pretty sexualized as well. There's sex scenes that they spend too much time on, I felt, and then there's also voodoo exorcisms and that kind of stuff that at times it's scary and then at times it's cheesy. It's just a weird combination. Let me know what you thought about this series below. I'm going to give this a C, because at times it gets better and at times it's just not great. It's the middle of the path. I feel like it's below par compared to some of the teenage series that we get from Netflix. But yeah, interested to hear your take on this. Thanks so much for watching this review, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.